Okay, so here we are at the beginning of another turn on Galactic Destiny. A lot of players are up in that 6-7 region in terms of planets where they're within striking distance. Really only blue and white aren't. I don't think anybody can win it this turn, but it's possible. Let's see what our random assortment of crap is for the turn. Oh, we get 3 events to begin with. Missionary sway. All senators who are currently ministers gain +4 to their diplomacy. This does not count towards voting. If there's an election this turn, the new ministers gain the bonuses, which kind of makes sense. For this turn, all green spiral party senators gain assassin and saboteur abilities. This is the People's Justice. If the GSP is in rebellion, they gain +1 to assassination and pay nothing to sabotage fleets. Those are bonuses that White's had. I forgot all about them, actually. It's hard for me to pay attention when I'm playing something as disjointed as I'm playing this. And finally, the party that controls the current Minister of Interior gets +1 diplomacy to all his senators. If there's election, it's the new minister that gains them. So we got +4 to all ministers, and +1 Minister of Interior, which I think is blue up here. Not red. Red gets, what is that, +1 to all his senators. So it's a lot more votes over on this left-hand side of the table, which actually had enough votes to control things already. Red and green are in the lead, are in leading positions right now, though. 2, 4, 6 for red, I think 7 for green. 1, 3, 6, 7, yeah. So they may not be in agreement the way they were last turn. Let's take a look at what sectors are available. Forty-four is over here. 15. And it really does look like the special gold sectors, the ones with special abilities, don't have cards for them, which I didn't really realize. And 55. And that makes them a little bit harder to take over way out here. So we've got a few sectors up there. What are our points like, though? This is the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That's like +5 to the dice. And those are all going to be in rebellion. So this one leaves yellow. Let's do these. Which makes them a little harder to deal with, actually, because if you take them militarily, they end up still being up for campaign if they're on this list, which makes it harder to actually keep them. On the other hand, you don't take corruption for taking them, and players may be taking corruption to try to gain sectors otherwise. And I hand out the resources at this point, and I'll come back in a bit. Well, the Senate phase was a complete bust. Nobody could get anything passed. The entire fleet returned to the home system, and players' orders are in place here. Now, one thing you notice is green's down at the bottom. This should have happened earlier. This is the special ability of Sector 10, which they took not last turn, I think, maybe an earlier one. But I forgot to trade the card, so I've probably forgotten a lot of these special abilities, and that's a usual for me, especially when I'm taking breaks between turns and having a lot of trouble playing through a game like I have been with this. It's not that it's a bad game, it's just I just have not been in the mood to play much of anything, really. Alright, so now we're going to go to the military phase, place the navies, etc., and then do of the campaigning. Right now, I'm not sure what's going on, but I think the Minister of Defense, Blue, is considering utilizing this Navy. You know what I forgot during the Justice phase? I forgot to trigger off the indictments. I can't forget that. I've got this horrible headache and I can't think straight. Okay, so jumping back, I took care of the trials that would have happened. And Purple actually lost 2 people executed. Yellow dodged one by throwing someone in here for early retirement, which is almost the same. It's just they get some cash and some influence back. Purple targeted back, hitting a couple of Greens, people who had done something and should have been eligible. However, among other things, they got a natural 2, which got them an extra corruption. And they really failed to turn the tide on these 2 characters. One was a fine, and the other one was not. It's easy to execute someone with a couple of corruption tokens on them, though. The numbers begin getting up there very quickly. Alright, now we go to the intrigue phase, and hopefully I'll feel a little better when I get to actually doing it. Okay, so we've got a lot of military action happening again. People are trying to stab to win the game here. Purple jumps out into here, taking some corruption for that. And also goes after one of the Keshra or whatever. Yellow, well, Yellow's being kindly and just grabbing one of these. In fact, given that they lost the territory, they're not doing that fantastic in terms of position right now. Red spends their special ability, march into Purple, try to counteract what Purple's gaining, but they were still going to be up 1 militarily if they win their battles. So what we see is White actually also moved against Purple. Interesting thing though, Blue targets one of the Kera, but they also took the single point of corruption for the illegal action of trying to seize the central core itself. And they're using the Republic's Navy under the Minister of Defense to do this. This is something other people could have done, and it's really not that big a cost. One corruption, of course, it makes you prosecutable, and you could lose a very powerful fleet that you could otherwise move into place. But it's probably the cheapest way to take things over is to hold that position. Finally, we have Green, who thinks maybe they can win this turn. So they're going after the Yellow and the Blue. Just easiest provinces to take that they can grab, and then if they can campaign 2 and gain a province that way, they'll be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 more makes 10. So if they can win their provinces, and they have last pick, which is very powerful, that's the advantage of their card. Alright, let's resolve the combats, and then we'll go on to the campaigning. Well, the battles were all successful, but the Keshra, or whatever they're called, have an increasingly more powerful force in each of their battles. Basically, because of all the points here, 1, 2, 3, 4, they're rolling 5 dice instead of the normal 1 for their defense, which means it takes a decent-sized fleet to handle them. And we can see here, some of these fleets have been decreased because of the more dice that they can roll, the more 5s and 6s they can get. So they're actually able to cause damage now in a way that they weren't before. We do see that Blue managed to impose military law over the core, as well as all the campaignable regions fell. Actually, everything fell. So right now, Green's 1 away from victory, and somebody has to stop them from taking another territory. If they take another territory, they win the game at this point. Everyone else is kind of far away, I believe. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 for Purple. Yellow is at 3, 4, 5. Red's at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So all the other players are kind of falling behind, but Green is right up there with 1 piece to go. So we'll see if they can get that in the campaign segment. And the resolution was kind of ugly there. The blue player lost to the red player here. Red intervened there. The only other real challenge that was made amongst these all for political was white went to go in here. There was a successful seduction, and then white was trying to find something else. They triggered another attack there, but they just didn't have the points to overcome green. Green ended up not going in anywhere. They could have gone for a challenge against other players, but every other location, the only weak player who was holding something was blue, and red had so much influence, and they still do, probably because I bumped the card or something, but they had so much influence that they were able to take it, and there was no way green could beat them there. Green's kind of low on the influence track. Now with 9 systems in their hands, they're going to have a lot more influence in this upcoming round, but they're also in a clear leading position and may end up being targeted 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Red's got 8, so they're not far behind, and they've actually put themselves in kind of a good position too. There's still a little bit of risk with the K-Ra or whatever because of the amount of corruption that's on the board. Some people have started retiring characters rather than have them killed due to prosecutions, because it is really hard to maintain, your senators alive at that point. And I looked through, some people may be shifting corruption markers or trying to get rid of them at this point, as well as buying the senators and ships that they'll be normally doing.